Day Dawns ARKS. Welcome everyone to your Phantasy Star podcast recorded live on December 26, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, PrinceBrightstar. With me here is Rooks. Go ahead and say hello.
I hope you're having a good morning, everyone.
So, this is the big one. We're trying to find out exactly what's going to be happening with New Genesis. We've got a new roadmap coming out today. Along with the video for basically our first look at what the Vial fight is going to look like. This is both information that was told to us in the description of the official feed. The big question is going to be kind of what are we going to be seeing beyond March here? Because we know Vial is going to be in February at this point. And the last roadmap had things ending in March, at least for that roadmap. So we just don't know where this new one is going to end now. They say 2025, but does that mean the whole year 2025?
That's been my thoughts exactly for this, for what's coming up here. So we'll see. Supposedly, Sega's Pro just got an influx of money, but I'm not sure how much of that is actually going to NGS at this point.
Yeah, and that's been kind of a whole thing that's happened this month, hasn't it? The whole question of if that money was actually qualified for New Genesis versus other things here, given that. Basically, we don't know if the game is actually a super game or not. Me and Karopi had it out, for me, I'm looking at it from an objective perspective. They're looking at it more from a subjective perspective. At this point, I think the best way to go about this is just simply to say agree to disagree until Sega themselves says officially what New Genesis is, because as of right now, I'm not aware of them saying it, but at the same time, who knows? Somebody could simply say, or rather ask a question during a stock investor meeting for Sega Sammy and ask if the game is a super game or not. But if New Genesis is a super game, then why does all the news media think the first super game hasn't even come out yet, that it's going to come out in 2026? I mean, if it's intended to be a super game, then Sega's not doing a very good job of hyping it up.
It does sound like Sega's moving the goalposts on this one. As for other projects that we know Sega's Pro is handling, they have handled other mobile games, but they are also handling the Crazy Taxi and Jet Grind Radio remakes, which is basically being turned into a combined, as far as we can tell, a combined live service game. Something that I don't think they have any real. I don't think anyone ever asked for that, honestly.
You're probably right. Yeah, I when we heard Super Game, I mean, the thing that kind of had been hyped up all this time, at least until it got canceled, was Hyenas. That was supposed to be the first super game, and then that got canceled. So I think it seems like they're just kind of trying to save face or something on the whole super game idea. At which point last year during the Video Game Awards, they announced the Shinobi and Crazy Taxi and all the rest of them. But yeah, it's interesting having the division that's handling those super games also being the ones that's handling New Genesis, which if it's not a super game, then what we were looking at a couple of months ago with the job postings for the second division could make a whole lot of sense, actually.
Thing is, I do remember seeing somewhere that. Oh, here we go. It's starting.
Okay, you're a couple of seconds ahead of me then. Yep, there it goes.
Let me pause for a bit.
Welcome back, everybody, to NGS Headline.
Hello, everyone. It's 9 p.m., so let's get started with NGS Headline. I am Hiro Arai, the official navigator of NGS, and I will be the MC for this program. I will be bringing you the latest info on NGS. We have tons of different campaigns happening for the Super Genesis Festival. This event is the perfect time to jump into NGS as we head toward the end.
I guess you could say this
2024.
campaign lately was
The
definitely
second half of the festival
aimed
kicks off
at
in
newer
January,
players, because
so
I'd
be sure to
certainly
liven
got
up the
almost nothing out of
post-holiday
it.
lull with NGS.
Yeah, the only
Now,
thing to
once
really
again,
get out of this is
program is to inform players
the new
about the current
12
operation
series
and
weapons.
upcoming updates of Sega's online RPG, PSO2NGSv2, also known as NGS. We will also share details about exciting campaigns and peripheral information, and discuss the present and future of NGS for our players. This is a pre-recorded broadcast. If you would like to watch it in Japanese, you can check it out on the Japanese NGS YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's move on to the updates you've all been waiting for.
So are they going to do the videos first or the roadmap first? That's the question.
First off, I'd like to share some info on the January 2025 updates. Let's start with the video.
Videos first it is then.
It's been there.
Alright, so we've got
This
Las
sounds
Vegas.
familiar.
Yeah, this is the daytime Las Vegas theme in PSO2. Specifically the one for the Ridroids, so I don't think they're bringing those back, though.
Half the time they have difficulty with these new movement systems. I think they just need a tutorial. They just need a proper tutorial first before shoving players into quests with them.
Yeah, that does seem to be one of the weaknesses. Alright, so we're getting an item refresh. In the shop.
Ain't wasting AC scratch on that.
Yeah, I think those first two look similar to yeah, so some of these definitely look like PSO2 kind of like updates. They got the Geo enemies back out again. And this is going to be the new crossover.
Byron? Yep.
Yep, Byron.
And a lot of people are saying that this is a big deal that they managed to get this.
Yeah, I still haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I'm probably going to look at it sometime over the next week or so. That being after I gave up on it originally, but I guess I gave up a little too early, potentially.
私はフリーレン。よろしくね。 魔法使いのフェルンです。
シュタルクだ。俺たちの仲間にならないか？
暗いよ、怖いよ。
That's a meme I have seen.
ダメです。
The mimic chest.
え？嫌だけど。ゼロだよ。
How was it? Let me go through the
You know,
details
the
of
next
these
character
slides.
popularity poll, I dare them to put old
Starting
PSO2
with this.
characters back on it.
We're wrapping up the
Yeah,
year with
although
the
they haven't
special
done
AC Scratch
a new poll in,
End
what,
of
2
Year
years at this
Popular
point,
Item
right?
Revival, dropping on December
I
28th.
think I was a bit more on the mark than I originally
This
thought
ticket
when I
brings
said
back a
that
plethora of popular
they
avatar
were a bit
items
salty
released
that
in
their
NGS in the past.
waifus didn't get
The
chosen.
scratch count bonus gives
Yeah.
you another chance to grab the PSO2
Yeah, I
spec
agree.
face
What, I
option,
think it was,
Beast, and the weapon camo Judge
Oh,
of
what's her
History.
name? Glenn's, second in command.
Plus, useful consumables like N Master Cube.
And I don't know for a fact that was not chosen
Your
up
first draw
based
for
on her
this scratch ticket
personality.
is free. So be sure to log in during the sales period to claim your free item.
Yeah, and then, Zeffetto was in second
The
place.
second half of the Super Genesis
And that
Festival
was a
seasonal
team effort.
event begins on January 1st.
Alright, so
In
another
addition to
100 draws on
continuing
the,
our Super Genesis gifts and the Super Use the Salon to Your Heart's Content
on the free
campaign,
scratch.
there will be a second round of the
That's
10
just
a day
yes, I
Super
agree. I
Free
would love
SG
that.
Scratch.
I would love that.
Just like with the first
Yep,
round,
I agree.
you will be able to draw 10 SG scratch tickets per day, up to a total of 100 draws
What?
during the campaign
Already
period.
I have played of
Even
Classic
if you
Phantasy
used
Star
up all
4.
100 draws in the first round,
I already like
you'll
the
get
characters a
another
lot.
100 for the second round. So be sure to max out your
I need to
free
get back to
swag.
that game really badly.
On top of all that, we'll be holding the Super Item
Well,
Enhancement
you still have
Support
New Year's
campaign.
Day coming up, so that might be a time to do
This
it.
campaign features boosts to support item enhancement,
If you don't have any plans
including
already.
a plus 90% boost to enhancement success rate. Alongside the release of the AC Scratch ticket,
I don't think
New
I
Year's
do.
AC Support Item Select 2025. So visit the item lab and beef up your build. On Helfa, Central City will sparkle for New Year's, with region mags decorated for a mid-winter feel. Snome Rappy,
But yeah,
Snome
this
Emperor
seems
Rappy,
like a,
and Snome Great Rappy will also be joining in the fun.
at least for the second part of the Super Genesis Festival.
The navigator for the event will be Shiandi, glammed up in her
It seems a
New Year's
little,
vest.
given
She is
the
investigating
LTQ we
enemy
saw,
movement in
a
Helfa,
little
so see what she has to say.
low, I guess, in quality. If they're just smashing all the
Shiandi has
Geo
some
enemies
New
together
Year's
in a
goodies
single
at the
boss room.
Seasonal Points Exchange Shop, including the build
I don't
card,
know what
rice
holds
cake
them back
display,
from actually making
the
things
portable
creative,
hologram,
but
hollow
then again,
New
I
Year's
also saw some
decoration,
new mechanics in
and the
there that
stamp,
I don't
Merry is
recognize from
cold.
other places.
Perfect for sharing your
So
thoughts
maybe
on
must
the
have missed
weather.
that.
there's some.
Super
Yeah, there was
Genesis
like
Festival
that
2024
bomb
SG
thing
scratch tickets
from
will still be
from
available,
the
so you can continue to try your luck
from
in the
Lucille
ongoing special scratch.
and a few other things. I don't
Items
know what they
such as
are,
those used
what they
for
were.
upgrading equipment are also
Okay.
there for the taking. We're adding
Well, if
a
it
new
means taking
lineup
them
to the
down
End
quickly,
Grinder
then
exchange.
maybe it
So
will
be sure to
maybe it
check
will
that
be
out.
funner than I'm expecting.
Limited time tasks will also be added for the seasonal event. Complete these tasks to earn TA Customization Disc X Omni and Master Cube and Arms Refiner too. There are also title tasks on the way that you can complete to get some swanky new titles and N Augment Transfer Pass vouchers. We're launching 3 special AC scratch tickets to celebrate the new year. New Year's
And what is
Remix
that?
Line
What is
2025
that fox on the left
offers
supposed to be?
reimagined variations of previously
Nothing. They
released
just something
outfits.
that they threw together for the
The
players.
scratch count bonus
Yeah,
also
but
has
I
some
mean, at
fab
that point, why
grabs,
not just give us
like
this
the
Tails
Rappy
costume?
Sneakers accessory and preset skill enhanced success.
Didn't they
and
do that
substitute
already?
Level 4.
Good
which
point,
lets you
yeah.
level up preset skills from level 1 to level 4
I
without
know they did
materials
like a
and with
humanoid
100%
Tails
success rate.
way back at like PSO2's launch in the West.
The Revival Scratch Ticket New Year's Rewind Collection 2025 showcases a collection of NGS spec AC Scratch Ticket prizes released in January's past. New Year's AC Support Item Select 2025 brings back Anadi class augments and consumables that will come in handy during your adventures.
So not new
Scratch count
augments, these are
bonuses
still
for
the
both of
same
these
old ones we've
tickets
been using
also
for
have
months at
preset
this
skill
point.
enhanced success and substitute
Yeah, so
level
I'm
4.
not going to do any real upgrading.
Try your 2025 luck on these New Year's scratch tickets while the Super Item Enhancement Support campaign.
Yeah,
is
until we
still
know
in session.
what we're getting from Vile, I would also recommend
Starting
holding off.
January 8th, you can join the new limited time quest, Drill Large Enemy Cleanup Op. Set in the Stia outskirts, up to 8 players work together to take down giant mutant enemies that successively spawn in this progressive quest. A gameplay element that was previously limited to Lucille exploration will also appear here. So watch out for it as you take down all the enemies. Limited time quests and title tasks will also be added along with this quest. Complete these tasks to earn Super Genesis Festival 2024 SP scratch tickets and Augment Transfer Pass vouchers and more. Circle January 12th on your calendars, everyone. That's the day we launch a plus 250% rare drop rate boost. Don't miss this chance to take on tons of quests and get the rare drops of your dreams. NGS will be holding a collab with the anime Freeren, Beyond Journey's End, starting January 8th, 2025. Log in during the collab period to get login bonuses, including acrylic stand-style build parts of Freeren, Fern, Stark, Himmel, Heiter, and Aizen, as well as special scratch tickets, SG, and GP.
It sounded like the localizer needed to re-record that
Also
section there.
releasing the new AC scratch ticket, Freeren, the Slayer style. It's got tons of collab items.
Even with a
Dress up
different
as
mic,
Freeren,
huh?
Yeah,
Fern,
exactly.
or
It's,
Stark with
unless the
avatar
mic just died on them during
Get
recording or
fancy with
something.
Impressive accessories like a briefcase.
Very
and a
stark
mirrored
difference.
Lotus bracelet. Send your friends voice chat stamps with quotes from famous scenes. Slap on weapon camo modeled after the weapons of Freeren and her friends, and more. We've also got an emote called 1073 Freeren Beyond Journey's End as the scratch count bonus, so don't miss out. Those were the updates for the first half of January. Now let's see what's coming in the second half of the month with this
Alright,
video.
masquerade time. And there's the music.
Yeah.
Sounds like a remix, though.
Is it just
Oh.
me or is he moving slower?
He might be. Also, we only get 4 deaths? What happened to 999?
Well, our
Oh,
yeah,
it's
Rambo,
it's one rank and one. It's multiple ranks at each death. Okay. 2 new deaths every other week. Oh, there's the new stuff. For augments. More N-spec stuff.
They didn't upgrade the resolution on those stickers, though. Well, finally a new mag.
Yep. Updated Dalian. Or no, this is a limited time urgent quest. Yeah, we'll have to see what Masquerade brings. I'm also curious how well players are going to be able to handle its clones. And also if he's going to do the the thing where he reduces the damage he takes after you've used a weapon too much, or a weapon attack, or yeah, one particular attack too many times.
That is asking for trouble with NGS.
I'm sure it is. But, you know what? Multi-weapon has been a part of this game since the start. Yeah, we'll see if he got dumbed down or not. Sega could surprise us here and actually keep all that stuff, though.
What did you think?
It
Let's
is
look at a
still
summary of the
better
updates
than
with
the
some
past
slides.
dual quests.
A new dual quest, Extra Duel, Fictitious Beam Depths 1 through 4, will be available from January 14th. This is a
Okay,
solo
so
quest
there are
in
10
which you
ranks
will
and
fight
10
one-on-one
deaths, so
against
100
the new ruinous
runs
boss
in total
enemy,
for this then.
Ruin Masquerader. Ruin Masquerader is an extremely powerful enemy who takes the form of a dark swordsman and attacks arcs with a variety of techniques. In Extra Duel, Fictitious Beam, You start from rank 1 at depth 1, and when you complete one rank, the next is unlocked. Once you complete ranks 1 through 10, the next depth is unlocked.
I wonder if he's going to turn all white in at rank 10, depth 10, and it's just one hit kills you.
And player abilities are weakened, making the battles
That's
more
how
challenging.
depth 999 worked in base PSO2.
2 new depths will be introduced every 2 weeks until the final depth, depth 10, becomes unlockable. Challenge yourself to complete the highest difficulty level. In this quest, you can get new augments such as C. Depnos Scepter. C. Depnos Scepter is an augment capsule that can be used at the item lab as an exchange enhancement material. They are required to create the powerful augment C. Magis Halfinale. Furthermore, as a completion reward for rank 10 of each depth, you can receive Ruin Masquerader related items you can't get anywhere else, so don't miss out.
That'd be a bit much,
tasks
Betsugen.
And title tasks will also be added to coincide with this extra duel. Complete the tasks to get SG and Master Cubes and more. As for title tasks, the number of tasks you can complete will increase as new depths are unlocked. So look forward to future updates. Next, here are some new items that will be added to the SG scratch tickets. Refined Form January 2025 includes Fleet Admiral and Marine Admiral from PSO2 remastered into
At least that is a former outfit Angel used to have.
The emote, Crawl, will also be available through the
That's
scratch
true.
count bonus.
Also,
So check
Betsugen,
that out as well.
I still need Master Cubes to re-roll on
We are also
things that I
releasing
didn't get the
40th edition of
the ones I
Mission
wanted
Pass,
for.
NGS Season 40.
Like, I still don't have the fighter plus
Don't
20
miss out
jump
on this
power.
chance to grab the Fahren Dard and Fahren Dane armor accessories from PSO2. The new padlock choker accessory and a Phoenix-themed mag form called Fenis Machina. Like last time, there will also be stamps, accessories, and other valuable items such as personal shop use, 3 days, and SG scratch ticket price slips included in the lineup. 2 Revival AC scratch tickets are coming on January 14th.
Sometimes I wonder if NGS is actually nerfing
PSO2
stuff or just
emote memories 2025
overly
and
competent at this
PSO2
point.
weapon camo memories 2025.
I don't
You'll
know.
have another chance to grab PSO2 spec emotes and weapon camo originally released in past AC scratch tickets. The emote Varuna Pose and the weapon camo Tempest Leaves will also be reintroduced as scratch count bonuses, so keep an eye out for those too. Furthermore, from January 19th, we will have Treasure Scratch 7, which is full of fancy items. You can also use select tickets, obtained by drawing the scratch ticket 75 times, to exchange for your favorite item from the lineup. So be sure to check out this one as well. A new limited time urgent quest, Planet Crusher Assault D2, is hitting Planet Halpha on January 22nd. This quest is an urgent quest version of the major target suppression mission, Planet Crusher Blitz Rank 2, released in September of this year. The core content of the quest remains the same, but up to 8 players can take it on together, and the quest failure conditions, as well as the enemy HP and attack power, have been relaxed, making it a more forgiving fight than Planet Crusher Blitz Rank 2. This quest will only be available until February 5th, 2025. So don't miss this chance to take on Malignant Dark Falls Dalian. The rewards include 12-star rarity 12 weapon series and C. Dantaria Scepter augment capsules. C. Dantaria Scepter is an augment capsule that can be used at the item lab as an exchange enhancement material. They are required to create the powerful augment C. Magis Gladia Soul. Other than creating C. Magis Gladia Soul, you also have a chance to get it directly as a drop. Furthermore, limited time tasks will also be added along with this quest. Complete these tasks to earn NEX cubes, N augmentation success rate plus 20%, and more. A new limited time quest, Snowfield Cleanup Op, is also sweeping through. This quest takes place in the Danan Snowfield in South Kavaris and allows up to
It seems
8
that way,
players to
Betsugen.
defeat enemies that rush in wave after wave. Each wave features
We heard
trials with side
that this was
missions,
coming.
and completing these will charge your Mars battery by a
This
certain
don't
amount.
be surprised if it's just in the. They gave us cheap Gland Gladius souls. Of course, they
Many
were going to
strong
throw
enemies
something else
appear
at
in the
us.
middle waves,
Yeah.
including boss enemies with harmonizers who must be defeated simultaneously or they will revive. Carefully determine the best timing to board your Mars. Limited time tasks and title tasks will also be added to coincide with this limited time quest. Complete these tasks to earn Super Genesis Festival 2024 SP Scratch tickets, and augment transfer pass vouchers, and more. Moreover, from January 26th, a plus 150% rare drop rate boost will be applied to all quests.
January 26th or 27th?
So get out there and take on this and the other limited time urgent quests. Next, let's talk about the new AC Scratch ticket,
Oh
Demonic
boy.
Elegance. Become a new you in the new year with Japanese-style outfits inspired by demons and shrine maidens.
Just noticing that they let
The Scratch Count bonus
the
features
middle model's
alternative
foot
versions
disappear
of
into the
Dash
ground.
and Glide Metal Club EX motion change items to add to your new
Gotcha.
vibe. That concludes the update information for today. Moving on to the next segment.
Roadmap? It's gotta be what's coming up next here.
Operation Report. For this segment, the NGS Operation Report, I, Hiro Arai, select questions and comments from players to bring to the development and live operations teams and bring you their answers.
Yeah, I
We
agree
also
with you
have a
there,
letter from the
Betsugen.
developers to share with you. We will begin with the letter from the developers, a message from the dev team to the players. We also have a video message this time, so let's take a look.
Okay.
Hello to all the ARKs out there. My name is Hamazaki, and I'm the series director of Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. I hope everyone is enjoying the Super Genesis Festival that began on December 11th. Thanks to you, NGS has reached its 3.5-year anniversary. In this episode, I'd like to talk about our roadmap for 2025. Let's begin with the second half of the Super Genesis Festival, which kicks off in January.
I see,
Various quests will be released,
over at the end there.
including new limited time quests as well as limited time urgent quests
Okay.
featuring Malignant Dark Falls Solus and Malignant Dark
So
Falls
that immediately
Medallion.
brings up the question, did something
You'll
happen
also
to
be able
Matoy?
to pull up to 100 free SG Scratch tickets, so make sure to log in.
A toy, but what if we
Additionally,
get
in
lucky and that
mid-January,
might be Manon?
We'll be releasing the new high difficulty quest, Extra Duel. where players
I get what
can
you're
ruin
saying in that.
Masquerader. In addition to its strength,
But yeah,
and
in all
actions
likelihood,
changing
we
every
might
time
finally
you
get an
defeat it,
explanation of why
we'll
we were
also be
sealed.
releasing an even stronger version
True.
of Ruin Masquerader
Also-
in February update. Put your hard-won gear and skills
Okay,
to the test
so-
and aim to complete
That's
the highest
provided
rank.
what we're getting
We're
here
also
is
planning a
not
collab
just
with the
another
popular anime Frieren,
ruin
Beyond
enemy.
Journey's End, so keep an eye out for
Could
that.
be, yeah.
In February, we'll update Lucille Exploration, unlock class level 100, and expand the Hunter class. In addition to an
Hunter
urgent
expansion,
quest where
okay.
players take on the large boss enemy, Dark Falls Vile, we'll be releasing its related story as well. We'll also be holding a new campaign, the new Scratch Ticket campaign. Get fabulous prizes in this unique Scratch Ticket campaign.
Field update. Does that mean we're doing loop number 3?
In March, we'll release a new type of limited time quest, the Relay Quest, with content that changes every other day. Be sure to give this one a try. April brings the release of a new standing quest, as well as an expansion of the Braver class. To commemorate the 4th anniversary of NGS, we will hold the Halfa's Super Origin Festival from April to May. We're celebrating like never before on our 4th anniversary, with additions including 5 new limited time quests and free SG scratch tickets with brand new items. From June to July, we will be releasing a field update and a high difficulty standing party quest. With the field update comes new enemies as well. Following our Frieren Beyond Journey's End collab, we have multiple collabs planned, including 2 with popular anime series based on light novels, a collab with a Sega title, and a collab with a popular science fiction fantasy toy line. 2025 is looking collabsolutely fantastic.
Please go hit your face against the desk for that one.
concludes the roadmap for the first half of 2025.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't
Yeah.
his. That was
Up to
not
now,
his
we've only
actual
shared
words. I
roadmaps
think that
in
was the translator
6-month
trying to be
increments.
funny.
Could be, yeah.
We will give you all a sneak peek of update content from August onwards, because it has been a point of discussion for many players as of late. We will be holding the Super Fantasy Festival in August of 2025. Additionally, we plan to add a new action system that will expand the actions available to the player. Although this will come sometime shortly after August, further information will be provided through Headline and other channels as it becomes available. Also, we apologize for keeping you all waiting for updates to the story. This will also be sometime shortly after August.
I'm kind of speechless here. I'm surprised they actually apologized.
To follow this up, the development team has all hands on deck working toward the release of a new field update and a main story update that ties into the large boss enemy fights. Stay tuned. What do you think of the roadmap?
I'm not that impressed yet.
As soon as we have more information to share, we will announce it through NGS Headline and other channels, so keep your eyes peeled for further updates.
It does seem like we're still going to be in basically the same
We've
episode
prepared
here,
a
though.
special video for you on Dark Falls Vile, the new boss coming in February. This contains a more detailed look at Vile's moves than the video we shared for the mid-scale update in the last headline. Let's take a look.
Its name is Vile. As something like their emperor.
Yeah, I have a feeling he went into hiding previously because the player wasn't around.
Could be.
Take care of your world.
Is this... No.
How was it? Be sure to mark
I
your
thought for a second that
calendars
was
for the release
the
in
nameless
February.
city in the background there.
I would like to once again thank everyone for playing NGS this past year. We in the development and live ops teams will continue working together to keep NGS fun and engaging well into the future.
You suck at it.
We
Find
hope
someone else to
continue
do
the
it,
game
please.
for a long time to come, and hope
Yeah,
all
that's
the
kind of the
arcs
elephant
will
in the room
accompany us
here.
throughout 2025 as well. See you again soon. A big thank you to series director Hamazaki. It looks like 2025 will be a year packed with exciting content. Whenever I have more details, I'll be sure to let you know through this broadcast.
Also, I think they were trying to hide the music for the fight there, because that sounded very familiar.
Player questions and comments.
I think that was Darkfall's
Here's
interception.
the first one. Would it be possible to make it so we start in our own creative space on login? Here is their response. Unfortunately, creative spaces are not ARKS bases and therefore cannot be starting locations on login. To make this possible, broad-scale changes would be necessary to make locations other than the ARKS base of each region be the login starting location. So it would be quite difficult to fulfill this request.
Also, not everybody's created a creative space.
That was their answer. Let's move on to the next question. Are there any plans to increase the number of items you can put up for sale in personal shops? Here is their response. In the February update, we plan to expand the slots for personal shops, adding 20 slots to the current 30 for a total of 50 slots. Keep an eye out for further updates. That was their answer. Let's move on to the next question.
That's a nice one, at least.
Will Line Strike ever support all ship matchmaking? Here is their response. We are currently testing an update that would allow you to switch to all ship matchmaking for unranked battles. With ranked battles, ratings are unique to each ship, and for free battles, you must designate your opponent before the match, so all ship matchmaking would be impractical to implement for those types of battles. With this change, unranked battles will always be open to all ship matchmaking. Same ship only matchmaking will be removed. That was their answer. Once this is implemented, you'll be able to enjoy Line Strike with even more ARKS. I'm looking forward to this update. That's all for our Q&A today. Moving forward, we will continue to select and bring your questions and feedback to the development and operations teams and share their answers with you. Please share your thoughts and opinions about this program and the game using the hashtag NGS Headline on X and other social media. Moving on to the next segment.
NGS Satellite Information.
Now let's move on from updates and talk about some other NGS
Yeah, we'll see how much more alive it is after
Get
this.
you even more hyped to play the game. Let's start with this. Ultra PSO2 Day starts on February 1st. This is a highly rewarding campaign where boost rates and login gifts are double that of a regular PSO2 Day. More details will be announced at a later date, so stay tuned. The Super Genesis Festival will continue until February 4th. From February 1st, the Ultra PSO2 Day and Super Genesis Festival boosts will overlap for a fantastic gameplay experience. So please enjoy the Super Genesis Festival until the end.
Interesting that they're actually
NGS
doing
is
that.
launching a collab with the TV anime A Certain Magical Index 3 in February 2025.
Never heard of this one.
Today, to celebrate the collab,
I
we
have.
a
I
collab
barely seen
visual
anything
from
on
the
it though.
NGS art team. Now, allow me to briefly introduce A Certain Magical Index 3. This anime is based on a series of light novels written by Kazuma Kamachi, with character designs by Kiyotaka Haimura. The story is set in Academy
Oh, Message
City,
in, that's where we
which has
disagree.
implemented a special curriculum to develop supernatural abilities. High school student Toma Kamijo leads a life
Or do you
of
mean just
perpetual
this show?
misfortune and is classified as having no abilities due to the Imagine Breaker power that resides in his right hand, which negates anything supernatural. His student life undergoes a drastic change, however, after he meets Index, who falls from the sky at the start
Gotcha.
of his
Okay.
summer vacation.
Thank you for the clarification.
Toma is caught in the middle as the agendas of the science side, which controls Academy City, and the magic side, which is linked to Index, becomes intertwined. The story revs up as science and magic collide.
Ah, thanks for the call out that it showed up on the
We'll have
as a
more
prior collab then.
details in the next NGS headline. That's all for this episode of NGS Headline. We look forward to seeing more of your thoughts in response to future NGS Headline episodes. Please share your thoughts and feedback on this program and the game using the hashtag NGS Headline on X. Together, we can make NGS an even more fantastic game. Thank you all for tuning in to Headline in 2024. The entire NGS team will continue to work hard to make 2025 another great year to play NGS. The next episode of NGS Headline will be the first broadcast of 2025, and we will be returning to our Tuesday night broadcast schedule on Tuesday, January 28th, 2025.
So in about 5 weeks.
We'll be focusing mainly on the updates coming in February 2025. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now then, ARKS, I'll see you at the next NGS Headline.
Thank you so much for watching NGS Headline throughout this year. Wishing you all a wonderful year ahead. See you again on next NGS Headline. Bye-bye.
All right. Let me take us over to here. So, what are your thoughts on this here, overall?
It's good that they're showing us some stuff, but I'm still not impressed at all because this is basically still dragging things out. The core issues that I have with the game is still there. I now know that there's actually going to be a game going on into the future that would be worth actually doing my video series on. But right now, what I'm seeing is they are still producing more of the. See, the problem is we don't need new fields. We need better use of the fields. We need to make better use of what's in the game already.
Yeah, and
And
that
basically,
Go
and we
ahead.
need the original. We need the original dungeon format of PSO2 to also make a return as well.
So you want to see randomized fields again?
Yes, I think if we ever get off the planet, that is the best format for those fields.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. What they built was good, but it only lasts like a couple of weeks, and then you've fully explored everything, And we've completed the second loop, and now it sounds like we're going for a third loop of Halpha now.
And that's a big problem. The game's not going to. And yeah, Vestige, it doesn't look like they got an increase in dev team or budget. What we're getting, of course, we don't know what is coming up here. But yeah, this looks like they're trying to just keep the game going as long as they can so that people will still be buying scratches and support stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. I'm definitely going to, do stuff with Masquerade as well as Vile, but then I don't know what's going to be after that. It looks like on the Japanese side they had a couple of extra things here. They had a thing with Bitcash, get some bonus AC with that. It looks like they're doing some sample, I guess, real versions of Line Strike cards, and then also Mousepad, I think, and then from there, then they go into the rest of what we got. I do want to pull up the Vile fight again here real quick, that and the roadmap, just to take one more look at it here, just to make sure we're not missing anything that we should be paying attention to here. Give me just a second to get over to there. Here we go.
Problem is, I'm not going to be able to see that in real time with that easily.
Yeah, give me a second here. I'm gonna pop it on screen here again. Let's see. Here we go. Oops, I need to full screen this. Okay, so yeah, so we've got the extra dual quest coming in late January, which is going to be Masquerade, and then Vile happens in February, and then 3 limited time quests, and then 7 relay quests. Have they ever used relay quests before? I can't remember.
No, they said that's a new type coming in.
Okay. Relay quest. That's. I wonder if it's like a new version of like the field races or something.
Okay, Arwen, they are going to have a mini story update for Vale this time, but I don't know if it's coming before or after Vale.
Yeah, they may do the thing that they did with Aegis, where they brought out the fight first, and then a little bit after they then did the story version. Hunter expansion and level cap raised to 100. The fact that they don't have a level cap raise in August, that might point towards that level 100 is going to be the end, and that maybe that story at the end there is going to be the end of the episode, or whatever they decide to do.
Maybe.
That's just speculative, but that's just the way I read it right now.
I mean, yeah, they made it very clear that this is still preliminary.
Yeah. New standing quest and 5 limited time quests in April to May. I'm curious. They back in February to March, they mentioned an extra dual quest update. That's going to be Masquerade, but does that mean it's No, actually, okay, I know what they're saying here. So the extra dual quest starts in late January, and then every 2 weeks after that. So between February and March, that's going to be those extra dual quest updates. Okay.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a Veil Hunar.
Yeah.
What I am thinking, remember what they called Starless before they were introduced? new enemies. I think we're getting a return of, well, since it looks like a Veil Hunar, maybe we're getting a return of the dark type enemies.
Possibly. Um, that would imply that the arcs missed some of them. Come to think
Or
of it, with 500 years, that would have been enough time for any Darkers fall spawns to regrow their nests.
or the primordial darkness managed to break through again.
Possibly. I mean, that's to your point. Like the only way a vile humor could even be around if it's not another simulation would be directly connected to the profound darkness. And I mean,
Now,
go ahead.
oh, sorry, complete your thought.
So that potentially goes back to the idea of Idola, not the game, but the Idola spoken of in the music tracks related to Profound Darkness and Dark Falls. For those of you that don't know the lore, there's multiple phases of a Profound Darkness. The final phase is effectively called Idola, and Idola is expected to be a multi-dimensional threat. So if we beat it back in PSO2, it's possible that what we beat back just simply hid in another dimension, which may require coordination across dimensions to finally defeat it if it ever did actually grow to the Idola stage.
So Alpine Gremlin, there is a possibility that this is that this may explain why our characters were sealed. We may finally get a player-centric storyline in New Genesis. But what happens if that happens to be a ruinous enemy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there was a rumor again that this was an enemy coming up as well. That this was another enemy coming up already. So, but if this is a ruinous enemy, that means what is the next step in the story? Because if this is Matoi, I mean, if this is a ruinous enemy, that means it's not a return of the D factor, darkers and such. And yes, D factor, because they're called darkers in Japan, and I kind of got tired of the whole fall spawn nonsense over here in North America.
Yep. Yeah, I say both just because there are the two different versions. To your point, if it is a ruinous enemy, the question becomes why is it spawning after Vile's been defeated? Is it just an automatic system that Zeffetto didn't have a chance to disable before they kicked the bucket, or is there something else going on here? That's sort of the big question here. And to your point, Rooks, also, we don't know if this is actually Matoi. It could potentially be Manon, or I don't know, maybe even Faria potentially.
That personally, I'm just thinking it would be nice if. Actually, no, that would also give her way too much time in the story again. So maybe it would not be a wise idea to make it Manon.
So maybe Aina then?
Those two really shouldn't be. The biggest problem right now is that they keep trying to find ways to shoehorn them in, you know, like Lamont in Final Fantasy 14. The problem isn't so much the character, it's themselves. It's the problem that they keep trying to shoehorn them into parts of the story that they shouldn't be, that they should be giving other characters a chance. And they should also be respecting the player's character as well. So
Yep.
many people want a return of Matoi. If they remember how that joke I said about if what would happen if they brought back the original cast from Phantasy Star Online 2 in a player poll? I'm almost certain Matoy and Luther would be back on top again,
More than
and
likely, yeah.
everyone else, and there would not even be an NGS character in the top 3. That's how much I would expect. And I think this is something that they've been trying to fight against ever since they released NGS, because they want the players to get attached to the new characters that they're coming out. But the problem is they're going about it in such a bad way that I'm afraid they're going to just make things even worse later on. This is why I keep on complaining and complaining about the story and how they handle the characters. It's not that the characters are bad per se, it's that they're handling the characters very poorly in the story, and they're not giving enough time to respect the player's character. The player who has who has paid money or put a lot of time and effort into their character to play in this game, to represent themselves in this game. And sorry about that. And they are not and they are not giving them enough time, they're not giving enough spotlight to the player character, basically. And let me put it this way: in Code Abyss, was the marker on the player character or was it on Matoy?
It was on the player.
All like if one of the things I remember all the way through chapter 1 and 2, episodes 1 and 2 of base PSO2, it felt very much like a lot of the story was responding to the player character's presence and actions, even though you weren't not in control of your player, in control of what your character actually did that much in the story. It still felt like you had an impact. In NGS, they do a really decent job of trying to make it so that your character is kind of ignored until there were enough complaints for them to actually start giving the players piecemeal attention in the story.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a constant question of like until we got to like chapter 5, why were we even in the story? Anybody else could have handled this. In fact, there's the whole Garwa plot hole that he probably could have handled most of the stuff that we did up until that point.
Yeah, it's basically like um we mentioned before. It's not that we're saying Garwa could have handled everything. We're just saying that, we're not saying Garwa should have handled everything. We're just saying that Garwa could have resolved so much of the difficulties before we even got there.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing with in Retum with Retum Renus or Renus Rem or whatever. That boss should not have even been a footnote in the story had Goro decided to say, okay, I should check over on our fellow arcs over in Renum and see how they're doing. And the thing is, he was doing that. He was going around, going to the story, going to quest lines. He was doing that. He was going around the whole of Halpha, checking on, well, taking out dread enemies. And the dread enemies are stronger by and large than the story bosses we fight, which is another problem repeatedly.
I don't think we can count stats as part of that thing, but um, I, basically the point is he had all this time to do these things before we ever arrived. So what we're asking for is basically an explanation for why he never did that.
Pretty much. And they do try to say he's a great guy. He tries to make everyone feel accepted. But then we find out was he really not willing to lend Redham a helping hand? And
Yep.
yeah, it's just one of those things where, oh well. Anyway, what were we going on before this? We got
We
really sidetracked.
we were talking about who the new Hunar is going to be.
Personally, actually now I'm thinking about it, if it is Matoy, it might be one of the better story choices, unless they're used as an excuse to permanently kill her off.
I mean,
That's another thing I am worried about. There is so like how do I put? There was a scene from well,
what I'll say is, based on the story that we know from Chapter 7, we were found by Zepheto in a capsule, and the other group tried to pull us away from Zepheto, but ultimately they were able to keep us. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm getting that wrong. We know that we were sealed in cold sleep, but the question is, where was Matoy? Were they in cold sleep as well when everything went down? And if they were, then that would definitely explain how they could have gotten to 1,000 years in the future. If, say, because potentially they didn't know what had happened to us, if they were the ones that launched us at Halpha, potentially, and we had not communicated in this whole time, they may have gotten worried and tried to summon what power they could. That might explain why she ended up like this again.
that thing is, she's supposed to be completely both are after like one of the points of being in cold sleep in the base game was that it was supposed to help the arcs deal with the accumulated D factor
Right.
in their bodies. If they both have been in cold sleep for that long, there should be absolutely no trace of D factor in their bodies at all.
Right. But we also know that even with the removal of Elder and Loser and the other all the rest of them, even with the removal of them from the universe, there were other Darkers out there, Darker Falspawn. There's the ones that are on planet Machia, which we saw in Phantasy Star Nova, and we don't know what happened to the Darker Falspawn around the planet where Dark Falls Hadaj was, that being in PSO2S. Potentially they got mopped up, especially because the inhabitants, their name is slipping me right now, but the inhabitants effectively feed on darker energy. It's possible they were turned into a source of farmed food for them after the fact. So it's more than likely that that there was still some source for that, and it's possible. To your point, yeah, the profound darkness could be back in play, and that I mean, this is basically what Matoy looked like when she merged with the piece of the profound darkness. The not the Amplum Umbra. What's the other name again? Amplum Umbra is
Inga
card revelation.
Fundarge.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, the Anga Fandar is just basically a part of this body. So
Xander, or also known as Arwen, says that he sees horns on it and he thinks it's more likely Dio. So
okay.
if it's Dio, that means Persona.
Yep. or that may point it more in a ruinous perspective potentially.
Yep.
All right, so we got to see what's going to happen with the story update related to Vile, and then it's going to be another 6-month wait to the next story, and then we'll see what's up with with this new boss here. Then whatever.
And I'm sorry, 6-month waits between stories is inexcusable at this point. I know they want to make everything motion captured and voice acted, but you don't need it, and it's hurting what players receive.
I agree at this point. If you were to just give us text, I mean, we don't need voices for every single scene out there. And that would allow you to get, if you had maybe only like half voice acting, that would allow you to get maybe like twice as much story content out at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we see how they just basically churn out limited time quests one after the other. They can clearly script stuff together, and people say it's not fair for us to expect them to be putting out so much content in such a short amount of time. But if I recall, we were getting pretty decent story updates at least every 2 months.
The mini episodes, yeah.
And base PSO2. And
base PSO2.
Yeah, in base PSO2 we were basically getting story updates like was it every 2 months possibly?
I think so. Yeah, especially during like the start of things where and the way they were handling that was it was like you got the first half of the chapter, and then you got the second half of the chapter a while later.
I also remember like the first episodes, like the first 2 episodes had a lot of story and story quests to them, and I miss those, by the way.
Yeah,
because once we got there were quests that did so many unique things. Like, how many of you ever remember having a Lillipin join your party? Yeah, that was a thing that happened in base PSO2 in one of the either the first or second episode.
Yep.
And you would actually navigate the underground with them, and you would learn about all sorts of stuff. And it was a boarded story arc, of course, so they trimmed that out of the what was it called? The omnibus quests.
Yep.
And if the central comic is their idea of story content, then I think they need to kill central comic. Then I want I want central comic to be burned.
Yeah, to your point, the big one that I remember from episode 1 was the Arks Battle Fest, where in the omnibus version we only join a Finn, but in the original version of that story quest, you had 6 choices to make in terms of who you would join on that quest. You would have the main class leaders. You'd have Oza, Risa, and Marlu. You would be able to go with Patty and T. You'd be able to go with Sarah if you chose to go with nobody. And then, of course, you could also go with a Finn. But because a Finn was the official canon version of that, that's the reason why that is why only that one exists. But if you got a perfect score on some of the other paths, you'd be able to fight up against Clara Scalise II and such. So, yeah, you got rewarded for going down the different paths, and it's such a shame that we don't see that anymore in the story here.
Once upon a time, once upon a time, PSO2 story was far more similar to Final Fantasy XIV style storytelling than it is currently. And I honestly, if they want to bring back the players, they're going to have to actually start doing the details, even if they're trying to cut costs at this point. because the places right now looking around and saying is feeling the lack of passion, the lack of budget the game has, and the lack of care.
Yep.
They need
Go ahead.
Hamazaki should probably be fired at this point. I don't care. He should not be running this anymore. Assign him to take him off NGS and throw him onto the new
The Super Games?
the other super games. Let someone else who actually cares actually put some effort into who actually cares about this series put effort into the game now.
Yeah.
Because right now,
Go ahead.
and that's the problem, Alpine Gremlin. Thing is, if it's lack of direction, I can give them direction. As I said, I have a I have a video series planned, and I am willing to basically give them direction for free at this point.
Yep.
And I was just waiting, for for basically information like this before I made my move on it. So now I know that the game is not getting shut down anytime soon. I'm going to go full tilt on that now.
Yep. And I put out my subplot idea recently, but I'll be interested to see what you come up with in your version of things here.
Oh, it's not just story. You can't save this game on just story. You have to actually have care in the gameplay aspects. You have to actually it's basically another one of the problems NGS has is that it doesn't sync up well enough with with all of its elements. All of its elements don't really sync up and support each other all that well either. I mentioned how well, just with how the creative spaces are set up, they don't really play into your larger exploration or gameplay aspects. Basically, you can't. Basically, just doing the daily and weekly creative space tasks, you never have to actually engage with the rest of the game, and that can be kind of a problem when you have limited content.
Yep. So I think we've said our piece at this point on
Yeah,
what
we
we're
have news that we need to get to.
yeah, exactly. But first, let's take one more look at that video with the Vile fight, um, just so we can get a better sense of that fight here. So let's see. I'll bring the audio back up.
Their emperor.
So I'm guessing this is probably how it intros here. Interesting to see that it's got apparently a phantom in the background. Those might also be like ARK ships back there. So maybe it's like using a background portraying the destruction that happened 500 years ago or something.
That looks more like a digital distortion to me.
Okay.
And I don't mean like it's artifacting in the video. I mean it's more like it's some sort of effect that they have going on in the background.
Could be, yeah. Not sure what to make of this shot here. Oh, you know what? Going back real quick, I just noticed something. Yeah, we were talking about this a week or two ago. Vile has a crown on him, and there's another Dark Falls that has a crown, and that is Dark Falls Theatra from Idola Phantasy Star Saga. So it's interesting to see that motif carry over here.
Oh, you gotta remember, this is as far as we know, this is not a true Dark Falls. This is just a Starless.
True. Yeah, so that's a whole other can of worms that with Idola ending, who knows if that's ever going to be resolved or not. Okay, so we have a beam attack, and then they throw something at you. This one, it looks like in this here, you have to keep your eye on the sky to see where lines are going to come down to create these AoE effects.
Makes me wonder if they're going to have unblockables here.
I would expect that these would probably be unblockables here, actually. That last attack here, that one... Let me back it up a little. Yeah, so this one here, it seems like you might be able to determine if the attack is going to be high or it's going to be low, but they don't show enough of it here to actually indicate that. Also, there's an effect around the players right now, apparently, that's giving them, like, some kind of a shield.
Those look like pickups, like something you can throw back at them. Those aren't players.
Oh! You might be right on that.
Like debris you can just throw back at them.
Yeah, and that was a feature that we used against Aegis. So that's curious, actually. We'll wait for the fight to come out first before I give my thoughts on that. Okay, that's that right there. Let me back it up. Yeah, this looks like a whole arena attack here. So I don't know if you have to dodge that perfectly or what the deal is on that. Alright, this looks like the start of a second phase here. Interesting eyes around everything there.
This is giving more angel vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you seen the picture of Ophrium? I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Say it one more time.
Ophrium. Orphranium. Basically it's a wheel moving within a wheel angel that one of the prophets saw. And it had eyes lining it.
No, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Let me see if I can find. Well, give me a moment. I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, there's a lot of angel symbology here. Like how he has 6 arms / wings. That's basically a seraphim detail.
Hmm. I'm trying to just verify.
6-winged serpent. That's basically a seraphim.
Yeah, and actually he does kind of have a tail like a serpent there. Yeah. You know what this also reminds me of? The way he's got this pattern here around him. This kind of reminds me of like the tips of the ring around Sodam. Which is interesting that they reference the Sodam music during Solus's fight. So that might have been it. Go ahead.
I'm about to post something to you. Look this up in Google search, okay?
Okay. let me see here.
Particularly look at image search.
Okay, I see what you're talking about here. So kind of it's got the central eye and then a ring of eyes around that.
Yep. And let me bring up an image of a seraphim.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'll move this over. Yeah, this is the kind of imagery that came up for me here.
Yep. Do that for seraphim too.
Say again?
Look, do that for seraphim as well.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're talking about now here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll bring this over now. Yeah, I can definitely see it now here. I see exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, comparing this back, yeah, it's pretty darn close. I'll give you that. So
The
even
imagery
this right here kind of
uncommon.
looks like an eye.
Yep. And the imagery isn't that uncommon. Like, for instance, you remember, okay, you're familiar with Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
The, Ghost Dragon, the Ghost Dragon, the Ghost Dragon that was, rolling over the distortion world. I'm trying to remember.
I don't know
Giratina.
much beyond Generation 1 and 2, to be honest. But still, this is really interesting, seeing that they're going for this kind of theme here. Uh, Giratina. Okay, yeah, I have heard of that name before.
Notice how he has kind of six everything, six wings, six L. That's because he's kind of supposed to be this. He's kind of halfway based on Seraphim,
Gotcha. Okay.
but particularly he's kind of supposed to be like a halfway representation of Lucifer or fallen Seraphim.
Gotcha. Okay.
And finally, that crown, probably leads back to Vale's namesake, Bale or Ball.
Yep.
Yes, and because that name is also um connected to Lord, and it's just one more way of saying yeah, that's where the crown comes from.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's move on to the rest of this. What's in phase 2 here apparently.
Yeah, it looked like we have a purely um purely Mars system, Mars section of the fight.
Yeah, and that would make sense because I didn't see a platform here for us to fight on, and yeah, that seems to be the case. There's nothing below us.
Which makes me wonder, why couldn't we do this with why couldn't we do this with the why couldn't they I guess they just didn't have it ready back when Angel was ready. When Angel was around. But it's like, why couldn't they have us do that with Angel?
I don't know. Um, it would have been interesting to yeah be able to. Well, part of it is that at the time, the central cannon had only just received its upgrades to be able to fire multiple times in succession. So that's probably part of why Mars didn't exist at the time. They weren't focused on that, and frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if part of that came from some of the help of the Lysilians as well. That's just how I think of the situation. But yeah, so we have a Mars centric part of the fight here. Doesn't seem to be making so many attacks during this phase, actually. If anything, that charge attack is kind of reminiscent of Dark Falls in PSU, but I mean, a charge attack is a charge attack, so not much to really make of that. Okay, and actually take a look around. We do see some ships in the background here.
Those look more like shards of reality or something. I don't think those are ships.
They look a little too boxy for me to not be for them not
Yeah,
to
like
be ships.
think pixels.
Wait, say again?
Think pixels.
Pixels.
Pixelization. Remember how many often with the Starless we see pixel structures?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it does kind of ladder step there, doesn't it? Okay. All right, then yeah, you could be right on that. Oh yeah, I did think that originally, and then I tried to correct myself. But yeah, it is in Nameless City. You can see the Clarissa back there. Yeah, good point. Good thing pointing that out there, Alpine.
You can just barely see it back there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Why we don't have an answer for why that thing is there either. The Clarissa, but
We'll get lucky and they'll actually start taking the story development seriously enough to actually give us answers.
Hopefully
But
so.
I have a feeling they're just dragging. I have an unfortunate feeling that they're just dragging things out.
Yeah, we'll see. We know that this game was supposed to have a 5-year plan. So to your point, they could just be trying to drag things out to maximize that 5 years. But we'll see. Was there anything else in this?
Your world.
Nah, that's it. Okay. All right, let me bring us back to the main view here then. All right, and yeah, we still have a few things we need to look at here today. We'll go ahead and bring this up now. So there have been some things happening on the main site after the fact here of the last headline. So first thing we have here is that there's a bug for the PlayStation 4 version whereby banner images may not be displayed correctly for NGS scratch ticket selection. So they ask players to please confirm the name of the scratch ticket on the purchase confirmation screen before paying into it. But that's kind of late in the process, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm wondering what keeps going on to have these bugs keep cropping up.
I completely agree with you there. This is repeated at this point, so yeah. And they don't say anything about it here because we don't have it, but I'm curious if this is happening on the Switch version as well. The Switch version is a cloud version that's on the Japanese side only. Moving on from that, there's an incorrect end date and time listed for the limited task seasonal Saint Great Rappy Suppression 1 and 2. It says it's going to go until the 7th, but no, it's going to end with the upcoming maintenance next week. Go ahead.
Once again, why are there still mistakes like this happening? What's going on with the team?
I don't know. Let's see. Next, some graphics may protrude from the character's waist when combining cardigan classmate base with innerwear or body paint. So they're working on that bug. Some of the graphics protrude from the character's boots when using the body paint with Freya Flare base. So, similar issue there. The preview and actual display of the Motion Idle Dark Soldier EX and Motion Dash Dark Soldier X are partially different. And then this is the big one that cropped up recently here. There's an issue with the all-ship matchmaking, whereby performance sometimes drops, specifically in the Nameless City exploration. So for the time being, they have suspended this functionality while they work to address the issue.
And they're going to address it just like they addressed the lag previously. They're going to ignore it until the player population drops again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That. Yeah, well,
because this is a bug that they never fixed from launch. When the game launched, we had a whole lot more players than we have now, and that was causing the heavy lag we were facing. But honestly, we should not have been having that much in the way of lag issues either. So
yeah,
this all comes back to they never fixed there's a lot of problems they just keep kicking down the road and forgetting about when the problem just doesn't get fixed.
I wonder if they can't fix it because they don't have access to the person that designed the database anymore. Because I remember when PSO2 launched in Japan, there was a bug whereby people sitting down in chairs was causing the database to back up in some way, and that's why they had to remove a whole bunch of chairs from the lobby in order to fix that. But if this is still a persistent bug from that time that just never truly got resolved correctly, and we're now 3 years in with New Genesis, it's possible that the designer of the database has moved on by now.
Which brings a significantly bigger problem for Sega than at this point. Sega really needs to bring people I would say Sega really needs to just put all hands on deck for this game. And I don't mean just inside the Sega Pro studio. I mean across the company. Just have anyone who can help.
Yeah, because with a bug like this, it's the sort of thing that if you're ever gonna do like a major expansion beyond New Genesis, you need to basically redo the database, and that because PSO2 and New Genesis are built upon this database, it would basically require completely separating a new database away from the current existing ones to truly fix this, and that would force a PSO3 sort of situation. Let's move on to this one here. Damage of attacks with Tech Arts customization applied sometimes drops to 1. This bug was fixed on the 10th. And then this bug, we also had an unscheduled maintenance along with that to get this fixed here. That's it for New Genesis, and Betsagen, it'll be interesting at that point, because at that point I'm sure projects will be ongoing to try to continue the New Genesis servers from a fan perspective at that point. Speaking of fan servers, on to Clementine here. So, for Clementine, they brought back the Christmas event this year, starting on the 14th, and there are 2 quests for this, Mag 2nd and Endless Nightmare, aka Like a Dream. And thank you to Agrajog for having saved these. The more enemies defeated in both missions will spawn more clear boxes. The level requirements for the event missions will be lower than usual. And Mag 2nd will also have a certain traveler who will appear randomly to gift players presents that meet them. And then with that, of course, we have the typical patch notes and event details. We'll take a quick look at that in a moment. They made a back-end fix on the 17th, and as part of this, in the unlockable routes, players can now choose to head to Block 2 or 3 of the previous area, instead of just being forced to go back to Block 3. They also made some adjustments on the 19th. Mag 2nd S4 and U ranking had their HP reduced. Mag 2nd U also had its clear rewards increased, and Endless Nightmare now pays out ultimate tokens. And then they made some more adjustments to Mag the 2nd. They changed the conditions of the boxes that spawn for the unlockable routes to spawn regardless when you clear the route. This change only applies to ultimate difficulty. And then they changed the conditions of some of the boxes in Dark Falls 1 to spawn regardless. And then to celebrate Christmas, they have a 50% rare drop rate boost applied to the server for 72 hours following the post, so I believe that may have ended. No, actually the post right below that says there. Okay, yes, it is. It may have ended at this point. Actually, 72 hours. Okay, I think in that case, yeah, it started at 7:20 in the evening on the 23rd, so I believe you have until 7:20 tonight to cash in on that. And as a side note, Mag 2nd will have the wide camera now if you enable it from the Ultimate lobby. And then this morning they made a post. They're going to be extending the auction trade window for from 24 to 48 hours for any auctions today. This is only for when the auction is over and it's time to collect the item. It doesn't extend the length of the auction, since they know people will be busy. Okay, actually, I took this screenshot last night, so it's actually going into today that you need to pick things up then. Okay, let's look at the actual update here. So, we have the Snow Peak Christmas Party. So, Alfred Tyler and the Rogues are hosting a Christmas party at Viotonga. All Guardians are invited to join. This is going to last until the 4th. In addition to that, players can now carry up to 10 Scape Dolls, and the Black Knight Helm had its MST increased from 800 from 500. The enemy drop rates have been increased across the board in Ultimate difficulty between 33 and 100%. They added new area drops to the train/PSO areas in Ultimate difficulty. All the other areas will be updated post-event. And they added a ton of new area drops to C to S4 difficulties. For balance adjustments, the Grand Crusher had its Photon Art mod increased by 150%, and scaling changed from 2% to 3% per level. Gravity Break decreased Combo 2 to 800% Photon Art mod at level 50, and reverted the Combo 3 change. For Tornado Break, increased level 41 to 50 scaling from 2%, or to 2% from 1%, and Photon Art mod values increased accordingly. Baga Zuba increased target count from 4 to 5. Anga Grutta increased level 41 to 50 scaling to 3% from 1%. The Sojin Ranbu Shou increased target count from 3 to 4 in all combos. The Chue Jito Sujin decreased combo 1 damage by 50%. The Sugacho Seka Photon Art mod at level 50 is now 440%, scaling adjusted to 3%. Cyclone Strike reduced the power mod by 10% on combo 2. Vivideza increased the Photon Art mod by 40%, cleaned up scaling to be 2% across the board, which is much better for Acrotecher now. And Barada Maga increased the stun level from 1/1/2/2/3 to 3/3/4/4/5. So, more frequently you're going to be stunning enemies with that. As for the event itself, so the holidays are here, and the rogues are having a Christmas party at one of their hideouts located deep in the Motube Mountains of Viotanga in the North Continent. During the festivities, the rogues accidentally uncovered a distortion in space-time. A sealed door was found inside the distorted space, and the Guardians were contacted to assist with opening it. And then, based on the number of enemy kills that happened during this event, there's going to be several rewards given in the 2-week period immediately after the event concludes. So that includes getting 10 Veloil coins a day, 100% Meseta boost, 100% PA experience boost, 100% regular experience boost, 100% mission point boost, 20 plus 20 Guardian cash payout, double shiny rate, 25% rare drop rate boost, and then beyond 2.5 million enemy kills, you're going to get an additional rare drop rate, 1% for every 100,000 kills. Gotcha. I may hop into that, because I still need to get my character leveled all the way up. It's still stuck in the, I think, S3 rank. As for the missions themselves, Mag 2nd, Maximum Attack G, which anybody that played Phantasy Star Universe back in the day, they're going to know what that mission is. But this is the Japanese version of the quest. Mission will see Guardians work their way through multiple areas using warps found in the ruins. And then Endless Nightmare, a 1 to 4 player event mission also returning from the Japanese servers. This mission is exclusive to Ultimate difficulty and requires a skilled group of Guardians to clear it. Solo players can attempt as well, but routes to additional enemies will be blocked off. And then each run of either mission has a small chance of Santa Rappy appearing, and talking to him will reward players with a special gift at random. And there is a whole bunch of stuff here, so if you're interested in getting any of this, it's available through these missions. Alright, Moving on to Ephinia. So, with the maintenance that happened on the 14th, the Christmas event is now live for the next 4 weeks, so this will be going until January 11th. Along with this update, the ships and the DLL were updated as part of the maintenance. The advanced config file now supports Japanese for the comments describing the properties. Existing files are automatically converted to UTF-16, and the default value for the is Japanese property will be 1 if your launcher language is set to Japanese. Afterwards, you can set this property to 0 or 1 to control which language is used for updating the file when the game launches. Some new properties were added to advanced config to control the color and shadow of chat bubbles, and some parameters for the camera zoom levels. If you hate how scrolling the mouse wheel can change the zoom levels, feel free to set all zoom levels to use the same value. They added some desync protections to the team point exchange. When you exchange an item for team points, your client will now tell the server some details about the item, and the server will proceed with the exchange if and only if sufficient data matches. They disabled banners for level 30 attack techniques dropping that occur in Ultimate Challenge mode. They fixed an issue in Episode 1 Challenge Stages 3 and 4 that could cause monsters to have shifted on the server. Monsters would appear to give the wrong experience and have the wrong drop types. Once this issue occurred, this is now fixed. There's a rare issue in challenge. They fixed a rare issue in challenge mode where items from graves could potentially break certain box drops. And then, as for the details of the Christmas event, so basically, this is similar to how it's been handled in prior years. But as a quick summary here, the power of all weekly boosts is doubled for the duration of the event. On the 24th, 25th, 31st, and January 1st, present drop rates are doubled. The Christmas Fiasco quests are unlocked in each episode for the duration of the event. These are powerful, dense quests that span multiple areas, and completing these quests rewards coal. Coal does not drop randomly, but a small amount of coal is obtainable from common presents. These quests reward 4, 6, and 6 coal for episode 1, 2, and 4 respectively. Coal can be used to buy presents from the Rawcast by the bank in the Christmas Shop quest in episode 1. Presents can drop from any enemy in any difficulty. Ultimate mode has a stronger presence than other modes. Rare Saint Rappies spawn in VR Temple in Episode 2 and drop their own variety of Christmas presents, containing a number of mag cells. The items and presents are reported by the community. Moderators will periodically update this post, which they've been doing down here. Here's the entire list of everything is here. And then when you report an item, please report it, whether it was a present that dropped in normal to very hard or a present that dropped in ultimate. And also remember that presents do not drop from Rappies that are scared away, nor do they drop from boxes. Rappies that are defeated normally will still drop presents. Present drop rates are not affected by DAR, so presents have an equal chance of dropping from any enemy killed, regardless of any daily or weekly DAR or rare drop rate boosts. And items listed with variable hit can have anywhere from 15 to 60% hit. Alright, so that does it for all the news updates I have. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about here, Rooks?
That I can think of.
Okay.
Let's just hope that NGS is taking a turn for the better here, and we are going to see more than just what is on the roadmap currently.
I agree. I would love to see them go back to adding mini episodes, if I'm being honest here, on top of the story, because that would at least hold us over a little bit better than how things have been over the last 6 months here with nothing for story, and we know now that it's going to be a little bit longer here.
I'm not okay with waiting until August for a full story update, honestly. But
well, we do have the one for Vile, so at least it's not going to be as long of a wait this time for that one.
I suspect it's going to be as much of a story update as it was for I suspect it's going to be similar to the story update for Dark Falls Aegis.
Well, that one basically brought us to Lucille, keep in mind. Because the fight came out first for the urgent quest, and then in story, Aegis was the first thing that we did in that story, and then we met Faria, and then we went to Lucille and met Sefeto.
Oh wait, yes, you're right. Okay, I'm thinking more like when the fight first came out before the. I'm not thinking chapter 5. I was thinking
that little 1 minute thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the beginning and after, I'm worried that's going to be the mini episode for Vale.
Well, no, I expect that we're getting a full blown chapter 8 here with this. When I say mini episode, I'm saying, after that chapter is over, give us like little things around the map where we go and visit them, and that starts up a quick 1 or 2 minute cutscene with some of the characters just as they're reflecting on what's happening.
Oh, that's the problem. I think it was the dev team that said it was a. I think it was the dev team that said it was a mini episode.
I must have missed that as they were talking about it, because I don't remember hearing that. Well, it's not that long until it comes out, so we'll see soon enough.
Okay.
Alright, anything else you want to bring up?
Nothing that I can hear.
Okay. Alright, and so with that brings us to the end of this episode. On behalf of Rooks and myself, thank you for joining us today. Day has dawned. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a good day.